So, good morning. I'm Daniel Posney, and this is called Shifting Perspectives. And it's just 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes at the max, just to shift perspectives about how you feel about life and what's going on in your life. And this morning, I was kind of looking for a topic. And like what really works for me is when I just let go and allow the idea to come in. And what came in today was about what I do and how I do it. So today I'm going to be talking about that. And I feel like this is a really good thing for me because it helps me to express what I've had a hard time in the past expressing. What is it that you do? What happens? How do you do it? So what I end up doing is, and I'll give you a couple different ways of talking about this. I'll give you the spiritual way, and then I'll give you the practical way. And that's kind of how I work. So I'm already getting started. So the spiritual way is I show up with my heart. And really that's what's happening is I've learned over the years how to clear myself as much as possible, to be in my heart as much as possible, to clear away whatever baggage that I've carried with me so that I can let the ideas that come from higher consciousness outside of my own mind to have them come through. So really, at the very basic basis of it is I show up with my heart. And that's something that everyone can do. If you're on this call to maybe learn how to do more of that, or how to improve your session work, or being a practitioner, or maybe you just want to, get more clear in your life. The thing that I realize is that when I'm showing up in presence and listening to somebody and really looking at them, not like I have something and they don't, or I've done more work than they have. I have no idea what they've gone through and the path that they're on. I have no idea about their multiple lives that they've lived. Maybe they've been what I am and multiply that by 100. I have no idea. So I stay away from any judgment about that. I just show up saying, I attracted someone very similar in vibration to me, and I have something for them and they have something for me. So that's really kind of how things work, or what happens. And I guess to kind of narrow down what type of work I do, I would say that I am a spiritual alchemist. And the alchemy part is about taking one thing and raising it to a higher frequency or to a higher vibration. So with the spiritual lean on it, you could also call it psycho-spiritual counseling. That's another good term for that. We're all just walking each other home, and I'm part of the walking. So the titles and topics of sessions that I do, again, they can be broken up into all different categories and session names, and very creative session names. But when you really come down to it, it's everybody coming back to love. If you really go to every single session, the balancing masculine and feminine, healing from emotional trauma, relationship work, spiritual awakening, inner child work, all of it is just coming back to love. And from what I've learned is we all have certain resistance to love, that kind of divine, unconditional, pure love. And so we make up little stories to keep ourselves separate from that. The reason why we get sick, the reason why we have illness, is all based on this whole concept of where we're resisting love, or we're resisting our own divine nature, or resisting God. So that's the spiritual take on everything, that the more that we could come into love completely. So I have this idea. I wonder that, is it true that when we die, because of the letting go of the body, we also have a letting go of responsibility. We have a letting go of perceptions and ideas and beliefs and all the triggers that we've held. Is that the reason why we're able to go into the non-physical, that we're able to go into what people call heaven. And could we do that before our physical body dies? So I guess that's another way of saying what I do is I help people prepare for death. I kind of like saying that because it's just fun, but I help you prepare for death by having you come fully into love. Now, to lean more into the practical side, okay, that's all fine, but practically, what do you do? So depending on the topic or the session title, I kind of engage in my own history and my own experiences and my own condition and see if there's anything in there that I can take from my experience and add it to the mix, add it to my toolbox. So I love doing research on spirituality and non-physical and psychic things, but also metaphysical meaning. So metaphysical means going beyond physical. So it's not such a crazy idea when you think that there are things that are more energetic and beyond physical. So I love finding out more about myself and more about everything around me, the energetic properties of those things. And there's some real science in all that. And the other part that I like engaging in is psychology. What is psychology? How do they talk about these things? And so I can kind of maybe use some words that help someone understand where they're coming from and what their life has been going like. And then the other part is a little bit of quantum physics in there too, just like kind of engaging in experiments that have been proven through science that we're all connected, that we create our reality and all those kind of things. And I just kind of flavor what I do with a little bit of that. But really, if I have take all that information and all that research, really the thing that's the most that contributes the most is my heart and my direct experience. When I can go into a room with somebody and say, yep, I can empathize with you, and this is the same vibration that I was in before, and it's no big deal. You can get through it. You can shift how you look at the world, and you can start engaging in a different life experience by just shifting your perspective. So it really helps so that that I've had all this experience with being down in the dumps, being sad, being depressed, thoughts of suicide, drugs, alcohol, marriage, divorce, kids, all that stuff is all stuff in my toolbox that I can engage with somebody and look at where I was and look at where I'm now and tell someone how I got to where I am now, which is a place of pure happiness every single day. Every day just keeps on getting better and better, and I don't question it anymore. And the stuff that happens now that is so what I would call serendipitous or synchronistic is not synchronistic anymore. It's just life for me now, and I want to share that. So I know that I can engage with someone on how I used to be with how they are now, and then what they are becoming, what they're coming into. And I'm so excited about that because when I was in that mix of not knowing where to go, a little bit lost, and feeling like, is this it for my life? I was a bit stubborn and resistant to asking for help. Like I didn't want to get a teacher that was full of crap. So I didn't seek out a teacher at all. And I didn't feel that retreats would give me what I really needed. So I didn't look at all. So it kind of, but just that's the way I kind of worked, I was kind of stubborn that way. And my soul, my being is all about doing it the way that I'm going to do it. There might be an easier way, but I'm going to do it this way. And like when I was in the Navy, there was the right way, the wrong way, the Navy way, and then there's Daniel's way. So and it doesn't really matter to me that it's a tougher way. It's just the way that I need to experience this. So that's kind of a little bit of how things play out. When I go into a session, what really helps me is to get myself out of the way, because it works every single time. If I say my job right now is to be a vehicle, my job right now is to be as clear as I can to listen with my heart and with my intuition and with my insight, what is the most helpful thing to share right now. And I'm attracting people that are ready to have this shared with them. I'm not, I don't think I do a lot of sharing my opinion about something without someone asking. I do my best to give support to somebody when they ask for it. And if they're in front of me, then they're asking for it. So I do a lot of asking questions, and then there's a certain amount of that questions can't really get to the different perspective that we're leaning into. So I'll ask them questions about how they feel about this and what they think the answer might be. But if they can't quite get to the answer that we're going into, I'll give them the answer. And that's the part that kind of causes a real big shift in awareness. And things like, you're pissed off at your ex and they treated you this way. Well, could it be that you have also felt this way in your childhood? So you can stop blaming your ex. That's another one that's just kind of, wow, that really, I don't want to let that go. I don't want to let that anger go towards this person. I want to just stay in my mind wants to stay in anger. And that's the other thing that I'll point into is that everything that you're saying that that you feel about something you want to hold on to, not forgiving and want to stay in anger, that's not really you. That's your mind that wants to stay in that. You are the one that's aware of all this stuff. And that's another concept that always is a great thing to introduce with somebody, is that they can start to let themselves go from being so connected, so attached, and so identified with the thoughts and beliefs and conditioning of the mind. And so it's a combination of direct experience, a combination of really listening and hearing and being compassionate and empathetic with that, and then bringing in a shift in consciousness. So there's really 3 steps that kind of narrow down to what happens. The first step is discovery. So there's them telling me the story, and I tend to listen to, I don't know, about 10, maybe 15 minutes of story, and then I've got enough. Then we're starting getting into the details, stuff that I don't need to hear about. And it's just getting the essence of it and the energy of it, so we can kind of nail it down to the theme of the story. So once that's discovered, then now you kind of get to, okay, this is how they've been feeling in their life. And any more than that just kind of starts to be detrimental. And then some people actually start to take over the session about their story and going on and on. You got to really rein those people in. And then the other part, once you've got the discovery, once I have the discovery, there's a certain amount of, I guess I call it interruption, or some kind of sound or some kind of sound therapy that disrupts the mind pattern. So sometimes that's didgeridoo, sometimes it's crystal bowl or drumming or getting out on the land. Breathwork is another great one. Something to cause the person to get a reference point of their divine nature. So their mind is running, our mind is playing out these programs and it's running all the time. But if you can get in there with, even some bells and gongs or something to show them that they exist without the mind, without the need for the body and the mind, that they exist as awareness. So when you play a drum in a certain beat, like 120 beats per minute, or you play the gong and didgeridoo in sort of a trance kind of a way, the brain goes into a theta state, and you get to have this feeling of, wow, I'm just perfectly fine being in awareness. So that's a really good thing for me to introduce to the person and have them experience love as a vibration. And then we can start to work in integrating new ideas about themselves, or shifting their perspective about things. So instead of holding so tightly on this idea about themselves, that they're not worthy or not lovable, or this narcissistic partner has, squashed them down and suppressed them, could it be that the whole world is here to love and support them? And that idea, once they've discovered what the theme is, understood it, maybe even where it came from, that it was introduced into their life, and then interrupt that program, and then come into deep compassion and empathy and love for this person, and then introduce truth as a new perspective. And it's like, wow, it's just it's such a huge spiritual awakening and shift in consciousness for people, that, wow, I can actually let go of this idea about myself and about the world, and I can shift it. I can shift it into love. I can shift it into, how is this person loving me and supporting me? How, if I look through God's eyes, how is this thing playing out for me? What is it really, the truth of what it means? So that's kind of the step-by-step of what I do most times. And then sometimes it's not that at all. hate to do that to you, but that's sort of what that's the skeleton of what I'm working with. And then sometimes I'm just with the person, and the heart energy that I bring into a session and being with someone, that's the thing actually that I am doing my best to learn about myself and to express that about myself. And I could just hear, my soul telling me, Daniel, it's enough just for you to be there, just for you to sit with someone. And sometimes it's what you're not bringing to the scene. You're not bringing a bunch of talking. You're not bringing a bunch of opinion. You're not bringing a bunch of not listening or being not compassionate. If you just bring stillness and awareness and the presence of love, that is awesome. And then me, Daniel, expects or assumes that there needs to be some talking. So I'll talk, like if we could do our sessions in the way that, just sit in the room or on a rock and just allow the stillness of loving awareness to present itself. Wow, that would be awesome. If you could just go, wow, I know what the truth is now. But kind of the realm that we're in, there's a little bit of a mixture of, there's some loving awareness to be felt, but there's also some need to satisfy the mind. And so I'm kind of playing with that all the time. The other thing that I use, I have these little cards, and here they are right here. These are the little lose yourself in love cards. And those came to me years ago, and they're just little sayings about the universe, about our life, about awareness, about triggers, all kinds of little topics. And sometimes we'll just pull a card, and of course that card will be the perfect card. It'll say some little phrase, and actually if you go to loseyourselfinlove.com, it'll have an automated generated card for you. So you can go to that site and then you can refresh it and get a new card every day. More specifically, if you're looking for more detailed information about how I do particular sessions, let me give you a couple examples. When I am talking to someone, let's say I'm talking to a woman and she is frustrated that her husband or her partner isn't kind of being the man that she wants him to be. Maybe she's working in a field that's a masculine or a male-dominated industry, and she's just frustrated with her life and she's got some anger coming up. So what I do in those sessions is I really listen to how that all came about, how the idea of that she needed to bust her ass in work and life and relationship, and did that come from some perception from her childhood? And usually, it all comes down to childhood, no matter what. And even if you didn't have a bad childhood, it comes from childhood. Anyway, I'll stay on track. So usually it's something like she was trying to satisfy her father so she could get love from her father. Maybe her father was an addict or an alcoholic or not around that much, and so she felt it was needed to show him how worthy she was of his love. And that whole thing got carried on. And so we kind of bring that up. Is that possible that happened? And if it isn't that, then there's just some other program that's being run that says, I came from complete awareness and a bright light into believing that I needed to create this program or this other persona. And I did that too. Everybody does that. We create a persona that makes us feel more comfortable or makes other people feel more comfortable. So we find out where that came from. Then there's at least some understanding, and that's not the fix for it. It's just that it helps kind of remove the stuck energy about the whole thing. And it's like, wow, okay, it came from somewhere, and even just having that is a great kind of a relief. Wow, it's not just who and what I am. There's nothing I can do anything about. It's actually came from somewhere. And then we go into, okay, how's that working for you? And how's that affecting your relationship? And I make sure that they know that I'm not here to change who they are. They don't need to become more of anything or less of this. It's just that there are certain things that play out in their life that makes their living difficult. So that's what we want to focus on. And if a woman is engaging in a male-dominated industry and she's feeling like things are out of alignment with her and she's frustrated and she's angry and the person that she's with is not really cutting the mustard, then there's something that we can look at, and it's all about her. It's all about looking at what she is presenting to the relationship. Could it be that there's something yet to be expressed in her, meaning divine feminine energy and creation ability and expression and all that, and nurturing and being able to receive? And we start to explore, could that be exactly what her partner needs and also what she needs? So pretty much, a lot of the counseling therapy type sessions that I do, it's that kind of a process going on. There's a discovery, and then there's okay, what is this done in your life? And then could it be that there's some other expression of you that is yet to come out if you'll let it? And it's like when I work with couples, there's a saying that I share, and it goes like this: what you need him to be for you is what he longs to become. He just hasn't known how. So there's always that thing going on. Like even in my own life, I know that, what she needed me to become is what I longed to become. I just didn't know how to get there. And so I just stayed where I was and then told myself to accept who I was. And that's fine, to love myself where I am. But there's also this knowing that there's something more, and I just don't know how to get there. Same thing with guys with divine masculine. We're all meant to, we all kind of are told that it's okay to be right here, but there's this other version of ourselves that we're yet to express. And it's like, damn it, I'm going to do that before I die. And so for some guys and for some girls, some women and some men, it's something that we have to engage in. We can't keep living the way that we've been living. So that's pretty much what I do in a nutshell. Let's see, is there anything else I can share with you? Breathwork. Breathwork is something I've been doing for about 15 years. It's another tool that I have, but it's a tool that it's just so profound that I wish millions of more people would do breathwork, especially our leaders and people making major decisions. Or especially like people that are engaging in war and stuff like that. Man, if more people did breathwork, I swear it's a life-changing experience. Breathwork, what I'm talking about is not yoga breathing. It's not ujjayi breath. It's not fire breath. It's not pranayama. It's intensive, cathartic, transformational breath work where you're breathing for a long time, and it's a lot of work, but it has the ability to give you a reference point of your own divine nature, so you can physically and energetically, emotionally experience it. So that's another powerful tool that I have. And the way that I do that is a person would lay down on the floor on a mat, eyes blindfolded, and I'm playing evocative music, or we're both engaging in this breath work. And so I've been doing it for so long that I can really tell the subtle signs of somebody that needs to go deeper or somebody that needs to be pulled back. And I've worked with people that are in PTSD, anxiety, heart surgery, cancer, all kinds of things, all the people that say that they can't breathe. and we're able to get them to, expand their lungs. I was working with a woman the other day that had a metal breast or rib plate kind of thing in there to they had to do some surgery on her rib cage, and she did breath work with that, and that was pretty amazing. So there's really not too many people, except people that are on heavy medication. That's not really a great match for that. And then people that are drinking it before they go into session. But people need to be really clear as much as possible. But those things are the great tools that I have available to me. And again, to kind of sum everything up, I go into it with my heart open and knowing that there's something for me also. And if it was me, if it was Daniel trying to figure this stuff out, every time I went into a session, man, I've been in some crazy sessions, like stuff that you only hear in the fringes of news, stuff like that you go, wow, that stuff really exists. Yep, it exists. And it's right in front of me. And I'm the guy that's supposed to do something here. And if it was me, my mind, I would run out of the room saying, I can't, I don't know what to say. But the fact that I start every session with a little prayer, and the prayer says, Spirit come, Spirit come, Spirit come. What would you have me say? What would you have me do? And what if I realized that the only truth was love? And that is a big reminder for me to just go, hey man, if this person is in front of me, I'm ready for this. So, and I'm just so amazed that it all works out every single time. So that's kind of the gist of what I do and how I do it. I have thought about doing a more detailed Zoom workshop where I go through each of the sessions that I do, and I tell what makes my sessions different than other people's sessions, and why mine always seem to have a really good success rate and real good results at the end. And I'd love to share that if people are interested. So it's another thing where if people are wanting to engage in that and want some more of that, then I'll put it out there, but I'm not going to put it out there unless people start asking. So have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. I love you. Bless you, and see you next time.